Now we're going to talk about Jalen brought this topic in. We actually had a little bit on it, but we're going to talk about for you women out there. We're talking about the soft man era. All right? We're talking about the soft man era. So
here we go.
The thing called drizzle.
Yep,
What's
drizzle.
Please.
It's a trend that started on TikTok, social media. I think his name's Scarface Mark, if I got his handle right, great. But he's basically created a satirical approach to, I don't know this woman's name, but
Demon.
It's a play off of the term or phrase sprinkle.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of that one?
I've heard sprinkle, like just adding something, right?
Yeah, sprinkle, or it's sprinkle. It's like this. I can't remember her name. I'm not a fan of her, but she'll be like, "Oh, he's not paying all your bills."
Dusty.
To women, essentially about, I think underlying tone is don't date broke men. Don't date it's a very toxic approach.
Don't date brokies, she says. Dusties, she says. Don't date men who can't pay for you, she says, and many, many other things. Okay, so this podcast here has triggered the women on TikTok because of what he's saying. And they're triggered because they're fans of his woman. But this man not only agrees with, but he's trying to live a soft guy life, having a soft guy era, and agrees with 50-50. And this is triggering the absolute F out of women.
This is trash AF.
But before we let him finish, let's listen to what some of the triggered women are saying.
I watched the Don't Trip podcast with Jalen Noble to gain some context so that you don't have to.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to be a part of this conversation and I needed to get the context on that video, so I did and went and got a looky-loo. In broad strokes, what Jalen's message was, he has been unpacking the meaning of masculinity and toxic masculinity and working on himself and his ego in the context of patriarchy, all green flags in that department. Where I feel like he missed the mark was his criticism of the sprinkle movement and what it means to be a provider. The idea of a 50-50 relationship sounds well and good, it sounds equal, it sounds fair, it sounds like a true partnership, and that's what a lot of women aspire to have. But based on the wisdom of many older generations of women, especially on TikTok now, it's become very popularized, we are realizing that 50-50 does not exist in a hetero relationship. One, because we're not actually equal in society. And two, there's nothing that can ever really equate to carrying a man's child.
Okay, let me stop her there. You'll notice a thread of a lot of women sort of agreeing to a point, but then disagreeing with the fact of, well, we have to have children and take care of children. But then this is why this is a big issue and why a lot of people are having a big issue with this, because it's women claiming and wanting to be modern and new and futuristic, but they want men to be steadfast in being, you gotta be traditional, have traditional values, take care of me and the home and everything. And that's where women act as if, you can't be 50-50. If you're 50-50, you're a slave to a man because you end up doing more as a woman. Really?
Furthermore, what tends to happen in long-term relationships, as per the wisdom of these older generations of women spreading this information on TikTok, what happens in these relationships traditionally is that women get the short end of the stick. They wind up doing the majority of the domestic labor in the household. It's invisible labor. It's undervalued. It's underpaid. It's underappreciated. 50-50 to me sounds very tit for tat, and it's very unsexy. I think if Jalen had used a little bit more critical thinking about why women want the sprinkle movement, he might actually have a little bit more of the empathy that he is prescribing himself to have.
Or do some women just want the sprinkle movement because they're delusional? They've made a lot of mistakes in their life and they realize, well, I've dated a lot of losers. Let me now try date up. The point is, look, if a lot of women from they were younger started out dating men of a certain level, you'd understand. But I mean, that's not the case, is it? A lot of women start out dating because younger men don't really have anything. They start out dating what they call now losers, dusties, and bums. But they weren't losers and dusties and bums when they were with them when they were younger having their fun. Or previous men when they were having their fun with. There are a lot of women who are dating men in prison, in jail, flipping 10, 15 years. How does that work? What can he do? What sort of 50-50 is he giving? In other words, it's a lot of BS. It's a lot of BS. In reality, a lot of people have to live 50-50, especially nowadays in this flipping crazy economy.
Sprinkle, as superficial of a movement as it might sound, actually at its core is telling women to raise the bar and raise the standards so that
it's superficial.
Men have to step up to the plate in their relationships and show up more than 50-50. Sprinkle is calling men to show their investment in a woman up front prior to engaging with them and getting granted access to them. Sprinkle movement protects women from the man's bad intentions. And sure, now that we're financially independent and are no longer forced to stay in abusive relationships with men, you would think, women can start paying the bills.
Notice how every single woman who totes and screams sprinkle has dated a dusty. It's common for them, isn't it? For 50-50, oh, that's horrible. Yeah. Now? How old is she?
Going 50-50. We can, but statistically, we are still doing more in partnerships and family settings in this capitalistic society than men do. especially in the long run. So I urge younger women to listen to older women on TikTok talk about their experiences with long-term relationships with men and understand that they deserve to be in a partnership with a man who is willing to make their lives as easy and effortless as possible for their enjoyment so they can actually relax. Young women, beware of these 50-50 guys. The buck does not stop there. They can show up for you even more. And I know this because I switched from going from 50-50 relationships to being with a man I would describe as a provider. And it's one of the best relationships I've ever had in my life. It is the best.
Women like this always assume they have the answer, don't they? Yet so many of them are still wrong, aren't they?
She has, I think, grabbed stronghold of a lot of women on social media who subscribe to her to think this way, to spew this rhetoric out of like what women should be looking for in men. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm going to make fun of it, but also like stand up for men because, you know, drizzle, that's where it was born again. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm sure he could probably elaborate on why he created this, but that's how I pick up what is being put down out there. It's like, you know, men are expected now to, you know, from what the sprinkle movement is, it's like men are expected to pay all the bills. Men are expected to pay for all the dates. Men are expected to pay for your nails, hair, all these things. In today's economy,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so the thought is
stupid in a lot of women to have that, especially look at the world we live in. And even if you understand, look, the amount of men that could actually be a complete 100% provider is a small number of men. And the point that men keep constantly coming back to is a lot of these women want to date a very small percentage of men. And then these women find out and realize these small percentages of men are very reckless. They can be. Why wouldn't they be? You see, what some people are calling toxic, they don't seem to understand they're creating the atmosphere for people to be toxic. They're creating the toxic people. They're creating the narratives, the nonsense, the lies and deceptions that keep people trapped and keep them toxic. But they don't realize it though. They don't realize it. Regular everyday people off the internet live 50-50. Especially nowadays, things are very expensive. A lot of people are still together because they'll be too broke to separate.
Why is that the norm? Why is that the expectation? What does a provider mean? Like, in my opinion, a provider doesn't mean someone who's going to pay financially for everything. That's not a provider to me. I think, you know, when someone becomes the mother of your kids or someone's raising, then there's a partnership that, you know, is communicated and talked about and understood. And if the partnership agrees on, hey, you're going to be the stay-at-home parent. I'm going to go out and chase this bag. That then is where financial, I think, moves under that umbrella of providership or being a provider. But not once do I think being a provider means when I start dating you, but it's like this sprinkle is all about the dating stage too. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me. So this soft.
Exactly the point. I'm going to look for a woman to pay her bills. That just sounds stupid. And that's how it's approached. It's like, no, woman, do I even like you? Do I even want to be around you? Is everything going to be good? I'm like, you know, I might not enjoy sleeping with you. I got to be careful what I say. So I got to say it so bland. I might not enjoy sleeping with her. Yeah. It's like your money and your bill paying abilities should be guaranteed as a man. But what is guaranteed from the woman? What are you allowed to expect from the woman?
An era is a satirical play on sprinkle, but a lot of men are making content around like, oh, I'm getting a haircut. You didn't pay for it. I'm not seeing you later. Like, I'm not seeing you. Drizzle. I'm not seeing you later. Like, oh.
I totally understand where men are coming from when they say, oh, well, I don't like how I have to pay for everything, how I'm expected to be, you know, the provider all the time. I don't like how I have to do that. But then I remember that women don't get paid the same amount. And then I remember that women aren't as likely to be considered for high-paying jobs. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing to fix?
You know, this is what I don't understand. What fence are women on? Because on one fence, you'll hear a lot of women saying, oh, women are buying the most houses nowadays. In the USA, women are buying more houses than men, apparently. Okay. A lot of modern independent women. Okay. This wage gap thing, I still find it very annoying. Because I'm like, what are men doing with all their money then? Men are getting paid more than women. What are men doing with their money? Oh, is it that a lot of these men that actually get paid more than women, they probably have families they're taking care of? They're not single men buying homes by themselves. They're buying it for a family. Single women buying big houses for themselves. Is that why more women are buying houses? Or are they making more money than a lot more men? Where's the disparity? Like, something's not clicking? Again, this is what you call BS. The point is a lot of women make enough money. A lot of women can go 50-50. A lot of women are reckless with their money. A lot of women need providers or wish they even had a man to go 50-50 with. Let's be honest.
So we can even out the playing field so that I can start paying for you. Because in my head, I'm like, You have all these doors open to you.
Really?
X, Y, and Z, and you can't get a good paying job?
Like a woman can't?
I'm sorry. That sounds like a you problem.
No, that's a you problem being a modern independent woman. You should have a high earning job, a big earning job, degrees and qualifications and all that. Yeah? Shout about it. If you're not making it as a modern independent woman, you're failing in modern society, aren't you? Just saying.
Zero shade intended, but I'm not letting someone with pearls around their neck.
Okay, before she continues, yeah, shade is intended. But let's start again.
Zero shade intended, but I'm not letting someone with pearls around their neck,
Really?
plaits in their head,
Really?
redefine what being a provider means. And I actually get so
You can't let the man be. You said no shade and you started cussing him. You said no shade and you started roasting him. Well, okay.
annoyed when I see y'all try to like dilute the meaning of a provider. Y'all can say all day long, a provider isn't just someone that provides for you financially. They need to provide for you emotionally. What about people who provide for you spiritually, mentally, all of those things? The essence of being a provider is being able to provide financially. Let's just get to that, please. Like, I understand that other things are very important and necessary, but when we say we're looking for a provider, we're not talking about someone that can provide emotional support. Because how many people in our lives do that for us already?
Okay, so this woman here is bringing up a very good point. A very good point to it then. Is it just about the money? Because if some women are talking about childbirth, then what is it then? If it's just about the money, if it's just about the finances, and a man does provide 100% finances, then why do women complain if he doesn't have any like hand in the housework and raising the children? Not that he shouldn't. That's not the point I'm making. I'm just saying, why do women complain then? Is it about the finances? She says it's not about the other things that men bring. Just being men and being masculine. It's not about that. It's not about that stuff apparently. No. That's BS apparently. So it's just about money then. It's just about finances. It's not about anything real. Yeah? So then as a man, you'd question, what's the point of even like trying to give women anything real? Just give her money. Shut up, woman, here's some money. You don't need real. You just need money, apparently.
Like, if you have a community around you and you have a good group of friends, you have supportive family, and they just provide you emotional support, mental support, spiritual support, are you considering them providers? You're not. So let's not be dense. And when we're talking about needing a provider, that we're not talking about providing financially. That is the essence of what being a provider is.
It just sounds like you just want a man to be an ATM. It sounds like you just want a man to be a tool to you, an accessory, and you don't have any care or feeling for the man. And this is the point. Even if a man can provide, it's like, what are you not allowed to even care about the man providing for you? This is what a lot of these women are saying full chest. Full chest are saying this.
Yes. Everyone has different relationships and different dynamics. The 50-50 conversation is so tiring. It's so exhaustive. We're done. It is what it is.
Women brought this one back up. Women brought this up because a man on a podcast was talking to other men.
Works for you. But like when y'all start like trying to change meaning of words, that's where you lose me every time.
Woman, you lost from the beginning when you said no shade and you started throwing shade. Really?
You're not taking me on a date this weekend. I'm not seeing you drizzle. Like, it's a satirical way that, because the rhetoric online is, oh, you know, he says he likes my nails, but he's not paying for them. Boy, bye, like kind of thing. It's like, well, okay, then let's flip that, because that's hypocritical. If I'm the person that's saying, I'm getting a haircut, you're not paying for it, I'm out.
All right, drizzle. Yeah, drizzle is crazy.
So I appreciate the satire in it, because I do think there's some inherently wrong approaches with both sides, or just that sprinkle, or that expectation of what a man should provide for a family. I'm never going to agree with what the, again, traditional sense of it is, because so much has changed.
Yeah, there's
so many things are different. But soft
so how
man,
do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you navigate the soft man era? How do you navigate being both the man of the house while also being the teddy bear of the house?
Yeah. So that's the internet's idea of soft man. My idea of a soft man is different, but it's similar in a sense that I believe a soft man, the word soft comes first.
Yeah.
It's about the definition of masculinity to me.
Okay.
I think masculinity is a spectrum from soft to hard.
Okay.
Look, one aspect about this soft guy era, which I think is good, I think it's good for men to address who they are as men. This over hard alpha male BS is absolute BS. Also, this ultra soft thing, that's BS as well. With men, there has to be some sort of balance. So this is why I don't do either. I don't do the ultra hard or alpha male BS. And I don't do the ultra soft or ultra delicate man. Look, as a man, in modern times, you have to have a bit of both in you. Be assertive, be yourself, be honest with your damn self. F the world, be honest with your damn self, who you are as a man. As a man, you have both feminine and masculine aspects to you. There's not just one. No, there's not just one. That's just effing stupid in itself. Any intelligent person would tell you that it's effing stupid if you think you're just masculine completely. You'd be dead. It is all about balance. And as a man, I think you have to have a bit of both nowadays. You cannot be a pushover, but I don't think you can be too hard anyway, because you're just being too hard or too soft for no reason. The world doesn't deserve that.
I don't think there is a way to, I think it's dangerous to be a consistently hard man, but I think a soft man era is, for me, just the idea that men are allowed to explore the spectrum that is masculinity. Masculinity is subjective, but to me, it's like, you know, you can be soft with your feelings. You can be soft with love. You can be soft with how you treat people. You can be soft with yourself. You can be hard when you go work out. You can be hard when you got to make tough decisions. You can be hard in other areas, like when you hurt yourself, like I need to be physically tough. But the soft man era to me is just the like understanding and true identity formation of a man. It's like this movement is so powerful because it's like the general mass is understanding that like you can go get a pedicure and take care of yourself. You can do a skincare routine, and it's just a softer way of life. It's not,
honestly, as a modern man, I think it should be basic bare minimum to have like self-care routines as a man. Yeah, have good hygiene as a man. Wash your damn self. Wash your butt as a man. I think that should be basic. A man saying he has a skincare routine, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's normal, bro. I don't see anything wrong with that. Some men think, oh, that's too far. How is it too far? Some men don't understand. You're competing with dudes that see that as normal. Of course, I'm going to take care of my skin. Why wouldn't I? I'm going to hit the gym and take care of my skin. Why wouldn't I? Eat good and look good, feel good, smell good, and be good, get that money good. It does take effort and balance, obviously.
Hi guys, so I just finished filming the podcast with Sarah. I hope you guys tune in. It's going to be very, very juicy. But we was talking about the Jalen and Monet situation, so I want to get into it on my own private page. Everybody's going crazy over this Jalen and Monet situation, and a lot of people do not like him anymore. Like, to them, he's a walking red flag. I'm completely for what he's saying. I am in a 50-50 relationship. I will always be in a 50-50 relationship. I do not want to be taken care of by a man. And when I say I don't want to be taken care of by the man is I don't want my husband to just be the provider. Why don't I want that? Because I don't want to run the house 24/7. That's not how I envision my life. I can't do it. How we run our relationship now is all the bills are 50-50 and all the housely duties are 50-50. So
look, if we're going to be honest and modern, this would make more sense. This makes sense. Now, in understanding that, of course, you'd make an adjustment if the woman becomes pregnant. It would adjust. It would become like 80-20 then. If it's just about finances, then it would become like 100% the man. But that's an adjustment over time. It's not immediately. That's not when you just meet a chick, you're just dating her, or you've known her for a couple weeks, couple months, and you're doing all this stuff for her. That's ridiculous. To expect that nowadays is naive and delusional. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That should be normal, shouldn't it? You meet a woman, then want to pay everything for her, and you don't even know her yet. That's dumb. That's delusional.
For example, on certain days, I cook and I clean. And on other days, he cooks and he cleans. I don't want to have to worry about cooking and figuring out what I'm going to eat for me and for him every single day. That alone is more exhausting than me going to work. I'm not saying that the provider life is wrong, but it's just never going to work for me. I also don't ever want to give the man the right to ever kick me out of a house or ever leave me high and dry, and now I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm a person, like it's like Monet said, you have to be whole first. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to provide, meaning if something, God forbid, was to happen to my boyfriend, I can still provide in my house.
Most insidious and ridiculous effects of the patriarchy is literally women paying 50-50.
There are sociological studies that show married men are happier than men who are not married versus married women being unhappier than women who aren't married. So it is fair and accurate to say that marriage is an advantage to men and a disadvantage to women in terms of happiness. There are also studies that
studies. A lot of men have been unhappy in marriage as well. The automatic guarantee a man is going to be happy in marriage, that is some BS. And It's just weird it's being touted so much nowadays. Yes, a lot of men do benefit of having a woman in their life because a lot of men do need to have a woman in their life. A lot of men can't cope by themselves. That's not all men. A lot of men do need that. All men do not. In a lot of cases, it's the man doing more, being more, having to be more. Especially nowadays, women just want and want and want. So women expect a man to come to the table with everything already. Race complete. He's not building now, he's already built. And what does he get in return?
Show that regardless of job status, women in households are still doing 90%, if not all, of the household chores. So that is regardless if she is a stay-at-home mom or whether or not she's working a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week full time. So it is fair and accurate to say that women are the primary caregivers of their children and husbands and households. So yeah, paying 50-50 is a complete scam when women have always done and are doing more work than men, and they're less happier than men.
Even women getting 100% aren't even happy themselves anyway. The point is, look, 50-50 is very normal in reality. People sharing the household bills and chores is a very normal and natural thing, especially nowadays. Have a nice day.
I don't know this woman's name, but
Demon?